This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I'm KJ Wright from the Seattle Seahawks, and you are watching NORBFAM.
What's going on, everybody? This is NORBFAM coming at you with another edition, another episode of Hawks Real Talk. Things getting really real this week as we're heading into the home stretch of the season, the final 4 weeks, and we find ourselves in the ideal of places. 4-game winning streak, having swept the Cardinals 30-18 on Sunday, looking really good, I must say. With 4 games to go, 2 at home and then 2 away, but in control of our own destiny, first place in the NFC West with a game up on the Rams and the Cardinals and 49ers down in the basement. What more could you ask for, right? Except a few more wins here so we can close this thing out and actually win this division. We're going to talk about this game, and I asked the question in the title of this, are the Seahawks for real? Is this what we're seeing now something that's going to sustain through the rest of the season? Or is this something that is just, was this an anomaly that we saw against Arizona? Or is Arizona not that good and we're just feeling artificially good about ourselves and we're going to have a harsh awakening on Sunday? We're going to try to get into this and find all this out as we break things down with our Hawks Real Talk panel and also look at a few plays as well. So let's go meet the panel right now. Here they are. We have some new faces here, or maybe some new faces, or that were actually old faces that are back again. The Hawks Real Talk panel, we are joined by, we'll go reverse clockwise order. Down to the bottom, the always familiar and always chipper and fun, friendly Jose, Sky-High Aviation from North Dakota. What's happening, Sky-High?
Nothing much. It's been actually a really good week. Stressful about school, but happy to be doing this, talking football. We got a really exciting show coming up, and we've got a really exciting game this weekend and a really exciting game that happened this past weekend that we're going to just dive right into today. So fired up.
We definitely are. A lot of people always mention, who are those young guys on your show that you have? So I got 2 guys here that are in college and one who is still years away from college, but actually more knowledgeable than you might think at first impression. So Sky-High is in North Dakota studying to be a pilot. And then we go to the right, we've got Abel Pasley. He is coming from Des Moines. Is it Des Moines? I always say for some reason I say it's East Side, but you're Des Moines. And are you 12 or 13?
Yeah, I'm turning 13 soon.
Turning 30, not barely even a teenager, but this guy's very smart when it comes to football. Glad to have you on here, Abel. And we've got a return of the Mac. We've got Cameron Hughes, a regular of the show in previous years, but he's been very busy. Actually, I've been holding off asking him exactly what he's been up to so that we can all find out together. So Cameron Hughes has been on the show doing breakdowns. He's done draft analysis videos on my channel. And he's very knowledgeable, but you've been up to something pretty exciting. Tell everybody about what you've been up to over at Wazoo. Uh-oh. Is he frozen? He frozen? Are you frozen? What a lead in. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
I think this big hype up and I go, it's Cameron Hughes. Cameron, what you been up to?
Yeah, I was about to text the group chat because you guys all went away, and it just went with the little buffering thing. I was about to text the group chat, but yeah, it's back now.
Okay, all right. Well, Cameron, Cameron has not been on the show at all this year because he's been very busy, and I know it's got something to do with football and the Washington State Cougars. So tell everybody in a quick amount of time, what have you been up to? What is your role over there at Wazoo this year?
Yeah, so I'm like a student assistant over there, or over here, I guess. So I work with the coaching staff. I've been traveling to the games, and then I do scribing in the box with all the coaches. So it's pretty cool. Get to be around football coaches. Learn all the nerdy side of football. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and this is what you want to get into. Is it coaching that your ultimate hope is to do?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. And so I know Wazoo had a red hot start, and then where are they going now? I know they had a few tough losses there late in the year. But where are they playing at? What's their ultimate destination?
Yeah, we're
here?
going to the Holiday Bowl in San Diego.
Okay, well, that's not a bad place to go to. My
It's a
daughter
good-
Sophie's actually on her way back from San Diego State to spend the holidays with us, and she loves it down there. So San Diego's a pretty awesome destination, for sure.
She goes to San Diego State?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. She's a sophomore there studying film. Just got into the film program. We'll start her major next semester, so she's pretty excited about that. So. All right. Well, thanks for the update. It's good to know. I'm sure you got even more insight being in the coach's room and seeing things on another level. So that's pretty awesome. So let's kind of just get some initial reactions about what we saw on Sunday. You know, again, I set the table with where the Seahawks are at right now, sitting pretty top of the division, somewhere where I think nobody gave us a shot to be at, especially about a month ago. I think we had like a 4% chance of making the playoffs, and now I think our chances high 60s close to, and can really pull it off if we can get some key wins here. But let's talk about this team as in general, kind of what you like to say to the Seahawks. Let's go to Abel. Let's start with you. What's your feeling now, having ridden this wave to get to where we're at? Are you feeling good about the state of the Seahawks right now?
Yeah, I am. 4 wins in a row is huge. It's a great little cushion, right? Because we got 2 games of space between the Niners and Cardinals, and then we got 1 game of space between the Rams. So we're on a roll, and it's great to be on a roll. It'll be really fun going into this Packers game. You got to feel confident with this team. The defense has been pretty fantastic the past few weeks, showing up when they need to. In the running game, looks like it's back on track after that last Cardinals game. So
I want to ask Jose, running game back on track. Is it back on track, or was this a one-off, or is it just Charbonnet showing who he really is? How much do we put into the stock? Because obviously we haven't seen a running performance like this all year, and all of a sudden, K9's out, Charbonnet comes in, and he puts on a show. What does this tell us about the state of the running game? Sky-High, we'll go to you. What's your take on? Was this something we can say this is it moving forward, or is that was like, well, that's just a one-off?
Oh, I think this is going to be it moving forward. We talked about last week, and it was evident in the film review last week, that I think during that Jets game, we were able to find something that worked. And it was usually the 2-back look, or we'd have a tight end come on the wham block, or one of our tackles be a lead blocker on a wham block, and usually a lot of trap counter-like concepts. And we're going to see that in the film review today, that this was actually evident. We saw a lot more 2-back looks with Kenny McIntosh, who I think honestly should be getting more snaps. And he's proved his worth, especially after this game. And Zach Charbonnet. To put this into perspective, this was going to take time, right? People were really big criticizers of Ryan Grubb early on. And I think, this is a guy who Ryan Grubb is fairly inexperienced, right? I've mentioned this the past 3-4 shows. He's fairly inexperienced offensive coordinator, and with what he's done, we have to be patient. And now we're starting to really see it put together. He's starting to find those plays that are working. He's starting to understand in the film room. We need to run through the B gaps, these A gaps, and we're going to see that evident in the film room today when we look at these plays, that the run game, this run game can be legit. Especially if we're able to find that balance between Walker, Charbonnet, and to be honest, I think Kenny McIntosh should also be getting carries. He's a really fast, really speedy player, and who knows, 3-headed monster along with DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett as a receiving core sounds like a deadly offensive weapon, regardless of how our offensive line plays.
Cam, I'm going to go to you. Maybe you can share your thoughts as well of what you've seen from this offense. I want to focus mostly on the offense just because the defense has kind of been solidifying what it is, and I think we all know by now, 5 games in, they've held their opponents under 20 points. This defense is here to stay. The offense, this is the first time it's had its coming out party. What's your thoughts on it? I'm just very curious. Have you had much been as busy as you are? You still able to keep up with the Seahawks during the season?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. Well, share your thoughts on it. What do you see? Is this the real Seahawks that we're going to see for the rest of the season?
It makes me hopeful that it is, because we just played them 2 weeks ago, and the running game specifically looked a lot better this time than it did 2 weeks ago. they pulled out a lot of gap scheme this week. They had been primarily like zone blocking, zone running the whole year, and then they really like leaned into the counter, the power, and some pin pull. So I hope the offense is here to stay. It just makes me a bit nervous that it was a one-off, just because like it was kind of like specific to what the Cardinals were doing. It was working because they were in the 3 down front, and then whenever they got 2 receivers wide, they would one of their backers would go out, so they didn't technically have like an edge defender. So then they pull those 2. We'll see it in the breakdown, but they pull the guard and the tackle, and then pin that 4-eye defensive end. So they didn't, it was very specific to what the Cardinals were doing. I hope they can get it going against the Packers, but I'm hopeful.
You're muted, Norb. You're muted, Norb. You're muted, Norb.
Sorry about that. I wanted to bring up the fact that a lot of people have been saying, the JSN obviously has been having a great several weeks of performances, but we haven't seen as much out of DK. Tyler Lockett's really kind of been minimized in his role. People started to get down and almost like, oh, well, DK's not that good. He's not getting that, any passes. Why should we pay him that much money? Blah, blah, blah. What's your take on just the kind of the balance of power in the receiving core? Because we have these 3 great receivers, but JSN clearly getting the bulk of it. What's your take on it for those people who are kind of, I think they just sort of ride the wave of whoever's hot and go, well, he's the best receiver we have. We don't need those other 2 guys. What's your kind of a take on it, Sky-High, as far as just kind of the wide receiving core as it stands right now?
Well, yeah, a few weeks ago, Metcalf came back from injury, and Jackson Smith-Njigba has done a fantastic job, stepping in and being that main guy, that number 1 slot receiver. And for the longest of times, teams have game planned or tried to game plan going against DK Metcalf, right? Having 2 guys on him, having a safety shade over them, having that linebacker, really drop back in depth and coverage, and possibly try and, tighten that throwing lane. And that has really opened up opportunities because teams are still doing that, right? Because DK Metcalf's still a threat. There's no regression whatsoever. DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith-Njigba, I have no doubt, will be both 1,000-yard have 1,000 yards receiving by the end of the season with the amount of yards that Geno's throwing for. So it's allowed Jackson Smith-Njigba to really, step up in that slot receiver and to be that guy to find those spaces, where that, and get those one-on-one opportunities, and to be where the defense is not. And obviously Tyler Lockett's really had a diminished role, but he's always that guy who's just Mr. Old Reliable at the same time. So while teams are going to continue to try and put a lot more emphasis than what they think they need on DK Metcalf, it's really allowed Jackson Smith-Njigba to step in to that role. And so now what my expectation is, really starting with this game, is that Green Bay is going to start really trying to focus on both those guys, both DK and Jackson Smith-Njigba. So maybe we'll start seeing more one-on-one opportunities for both of these guys. Maybe DK will have a better game this week. It's really just a matter of, right now, this past week we had a really good running game. There really wasn't need to, make these long down the field throws. Our offense was extremely efficient. So it felt like, we weren't really taking six to 8 minutes to score. It felt like we were, going down the field very, very quickly and making these quick plays. So it really was going by in an instant. We also had some short fields to work with, but I wouldn't be concerned. Jackson Smith-Njigba has done a fantastic job, and I fully expect that DK Metcalf will also continue to be having a fantastic job. Unmute yourself, Norb.
I keep doing that. I'm trying to mute so I don't over talk over you guys.
Yeah.
I also think that there was a couple plays that we could have really blown it open. Tyler Lockett was just like a juggled ball away from a touchdown. Normally he's made that catch 9 out of 10 times. He just didn't haul it in that time. So that would have been a great stat to have. I don't know how many yards that would have been, a 30-yard touchdown throw or something like that. So we were that close on that. And then, do you remember the false start play where DK, he threw the ball to DK on a just go straight, fly down the right sideline. But we had a delay of game, so it didn't count. But DK had totally juked his man. He would have been wide open down the right sideline, but they called the play dead because of the delay of game. So I think those two more touchdowns that could have been there had those plays gone the other way, but that close to blowing it wide open. So Cameron, before we get into our play breakdowns that Jose has prepared, and none of us have seen what he's chosen, we just kind of go watch and see what examples he's pulled to see what this game demonstrated. Any other thoughts in terms of the way the offense has been shifting, kind of, and this comment also encapsulates a lot of people's reactions after Sunday, which is, I'm not sure, this is from Skywalker, I'm not sure Walker would have done as well running with that scheme. I think he's better in motion. Sharp feels like our punch it in and through guy. So it's easy for, I think, the national reactions to go, well, Charbonnet did so much better. We should just make him our starting running back. Any truth to that? Or could K9 have been playing healthy and would he have succeeded just as well? What's your thoughts in terms of the interchangeability of running back 1 in Ken Walker versus running back 2 in Charbonnet?
Yeah, just real quick on Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is not washed, by the way. I've been seeing a lot of that. He's getting open. He's just not the focal point of the offense. But on Zach Charbonnet, I think there's some truth to that. Like, Walker's kind of like, I don't know how to describe his running style, but he's just like, it seems like he's got a lot of energy, Charbonnet he seems a lot more disciplined as a running back. But I don't think we ran a whole lot of gap, a lot of gap scheme runs earlier in the year with him. So I'd like to see Walker, because I think actually Walker could do better than what Charbonnet did in that kind of run game. So hopefully he plays, and hopefully they stick to what worked, and then hopefully run some play action off of it as well, because their play action game's been awful this year.
Right. Well, I think the play action only goes as well as your run game goes, right? It's not much of a play action threat if you can't run the football. So,
right.
So I think one sample size is hard to tell. Was it just the line being great, or was it Charbonnet? But I think bottom line is the offensive line performed not only on the run but pass protection. Mm-hmm. I thought they were pretty solid too. I took a snapshot. I'm sure we'll see it in your play breakdown. But there's one point I was watching. I froze the screen at the point on the first touchdown throw to JSN in the corner. I just looked at it. I was like, wow, look at that pretty pocket. Look at that. Hat on a hat. Everybody spread out. Gino with all this room around him. I was like, we just haven't seen this very often. So It was nice to see them doing it both on the run and in pass protection. So, well, shall we jump into the plays, Sky High? You ready to do this?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Abel he's dealing with some issues right now with his headset and mic, so we'll be without him until. Oh, look at that!
Well, do you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
We can hear you. It's a little low, but we can hear you.
That's weird, because I can't hear anything out of the headset, so I thought something was wrong. Never mind.
We were hearing you the whole time. Your volume's a bit low, and when somebody in the chat said my volume is a little too high, so I tried to adjust that. So I hope I'm a little less louder than everybody else. So. It's one of those things, we're just trying to get it all worked out. It's just like the Seahawks offensive line. Sometimes they have good days, sometimes they have bad days, but you hope that at some point you get your stuff together before the season's over.
More bad days than good.
Since Abel's back, let me just get one last take on you with just in terms of with this offense. We were kind of talking about, is it that Charbonnet's a better runner, or did the offensive line just have a great day and anybody would have had a more successful run day that day? What's your overall take?
No doubt. I think the O-line performed probably debatably their best performance all year long. Definitely not Charbonnet being a better runner. I'm sorry. We've seen time and time again him be the starting running back or be in situations where he is needed and not come up to performance. He's not a bad runner by any means, but I do believe that if Kenneth Walker was put in that same position healthy, he would have performed just as well, if not better. Charbonnet is a power runner, and Kenneth Walker is a different runner, so you can't compare the two with great accuracy. But I will say I don't think it's a skill thing. I just think the O-line played great. Charbonnet, he had a great game too, no doubt. But, if we're gonna be serious to say Charbonnet is a better running back, or we should make him the running back one, you're crazy. Because we've seen him time and time again be that while K9's injured and not perform.
Oh, there you go. All right. Conviction in that K9 should not lose his job to Charbonnet because of one game. But we'll see. He has still been banged up, so I don't think we even know yet his status. He may not be playing on Sunday. We'll see what the injury report looks like at the end of the week. But so far, he's still a little bit banged up. I think it's an ankle and or calf combination.
Everything hurts.
Pretty weird because it didn't seem like he was banged up coming out of the Jets game, but these things happen. Okay, let's go for it. You ready? Sky-High, I can't wait to see what play breakdowns you got.
Yeah, we got 10 plays. Norb mentioned that Cameron actually pre-selected a few of these plays, about 4 or 5 of them. So they've been pre-selected. Didn't pre-select this one though, so that'll be the next one. We're going to talk about those open gap schemes that were new with this Seahawks offense. So I guess this is a commonality that I've noticed. Before we get into this, a commonality that I've noticed is usually when they line up Jake Bobo and sometimes we'll line up in a trips. Maybe we'll have a tight end out here. Usually means that they are either trying to run a screen to Jackson Smith and Jigba, which is quite common. Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN, easier to say. JSN he's a focal point of the screen game. Usually receives a lot of those tunnel screens that you see over the middle. In reality, that's not what happens. We have 2 running backs, right? We've got almost like I can't remember the formation name for this one. But go ahead, Cameron. Say
this is just gun split.
So yeah, gun split here. This is something again we haven't really seen. I think maybe we saw once or twice in the Jets game. We haven't really seen. We really never saw this much all year. Maybe a lot of people recognize the 2 running backs in the backfield from a Shane Waldron type scheme. He usually like to keep multiple guys possibly in the backfield. But this is going to be a simple, it almost looks like it's a counter almost to Kenny McIntosh, who's going to split with the C gap. Charbonnet not even going to try and attempt to get the ball. He's going to go straight and block this end here. And Budda Baker, who's their best defensive player, always crashes down on the ball so hard. Always such a very well performed player. Very intelligent on the defensive side. Bring him home to Seattle, by the way. He's a free agent after this year. That'd be a great acquisition. He's going to come down and crash down, and Noah Fant's going to take care of him, and we're going to have a Kenny McIntosh burst right through the middle. So we'll go ahead and take a quick little peek at this. Stop it right there, right? There's the look at the screen, right? The fake screen. Charbonnet actually hits his blocking assignment this time, right? Comes right off the end, blocking assignment, and there we go. We've created it right then and there. We've created offensive line does good enough, right? Despite that, offensive line does good enough to create a gap where Charbonnet, where the linebacker one, his vision still in the backfield, right? Is he going to be able to have the footwork to make that tackle? Is he going to be able to have that vision to see him coming through there? Likely not in time. It leaves it up to these 2 defenders, right? McIntosh is a very fast runner, but very good blocking by Noah Fant, right? Budda Baker, Budda Baker versus Noah Fant, you're not really going to have a matchup there. Charbonnet does a good enough job, really chips that defensive end, doesn't really need to do much, don't want to get called for holding, don't want to get any penalties, allows McIntosh to see through, make a cut. And again, we're going to see this again and again. We're not going to look at every single time this happened in the Cardinals game, but this was essentially the base of this running game. That really cutback scheme, that trap scheme, it switches automatically over for me. There you go. Get a better look at it here, right? Defense communicates well for the Cardinals. They kind of know what's about to happen. Charbonnet holds off, right? That's a really big gap, right? Especially when you take out Arizona's best defender and their best tackler. That's a really big gap through the C gap for Kenny McIntosh. And this was, again, the basis of what was a successful run game the entire game for us today.
I think it's good to note that is Noah Fant making that block, because I think there's been some heat on the tight ends not doing a very good job of blocking, and Noah Fant is probably the least of the blocking tight ends. Barner and Farrell Brown are supposed to be doing that. He did a great job, because without that block, he goes nowhere probably.
Can I add on to this?
Of course. You don't need to ask.
So,
Just go in.
Yeah. Okay. Can you rewind it to the start in the end zone view?
Okay.
So as Charbonnet comes across, he basically creates another gap because he turns into the full gap or the fullback. So this linebacker, as he falls back, the linebacker needs to fall back with him, and because he doesn't do that, it leaves this what is that, the A, B, C, the D gap wide open. So it's really good. I like that. Yeah, so like that area, he should fall back into this gap, and then this safety needs to trigger down into that D gap.
So you're saying the middle linebacker kind of did not go back and regain position.
Right,
Too much open space there.
Exactly.
He guessed wrong. I think it's a good point Skywalker makes here. The Cross and Lucas both had rare penalties. We had a pretty low penalty game. We got a little messy in the second half, but that first half was pretty clean football, which has been an issue on most of the other games we've had this year.
All right. Shall I get a setup for the next play? Yeah, I'm a setup for the next one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the comments will keep going while you get set up. Skywalker says Gino's throwing dimes. Skywalker says, in response to my microphone, now you're just loud as F, just the way we like it.
Jeez.
It seems like I do. Bobo in that spot after the catch, honestly. I want Mac on special teams running the ball back on kickoff. He did actually have a shot to do that after, I think, one of our guys went down. He was on the return spot, but made a little
I like our
nervous
new guy.
When we saw the new guy, he
Oh, God.
almost fumbled the football. I was like, oh my God.
I forgot about that.
Luckily, it was down by contact, but
Yeah.
I don't think we had a return after that. I'm kind of surprised. If I was Arizona special teams, I would have just been kept kicking to the returners until they stopped not fumbling or stopped fumbling. So, all right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, wait.
All right.
I want to say one more thing about special teams.
Yeah.
It's been such a weird part of our season. Like, we've seen us lose because of special teams and then help us win games because of special teams. But I think a lot of people underestimate how big of a thing it is. You know, you fall apart on special teams, you could fall apart in the game. And if you do well on special teams, you just find yourself at an advantage. You know, you're working 7 points up instead of working 7 points down off of a kickoff return. It's huge.
Oh, I try to give special teams their love as much as possible. I think we know how important Dixon has been, and he was once again kicked that ball to the 2-yard line with an amazing kick. But Jason Myers, I don't think people are singing his praises. He's having an awesome year, and if he wasn't as accurate as he's been, we'd probably have maybe another loss or two in our belts because he's been just on the money. He has been so solid, sinking field goals and extra points. So yeah, all that, the kick return game, the kick off team game, the punts, field goals, extra points, all that stuff is critical, and I think they've been doing a pretty good job, minus the fumble plays from last week.
Did you just say fumble Rooski?
I almost said fumble Rooski.
No.
Terrible commercial.
Oh my God, where did that come from? Too many advertisements I've seen. All right, let's go to the next play.
Oh, yeah. Next play. All right, let's go ahead. Yeah, here we go. One thing I've noticed is that the defensive communication over the past few weeks has improved so much. Guys are talking to each other on the line, making sure our footworks are correct, making sure we're rushing the correct lanes. And the safety play has been so much better. Rayshawn Jenkins is a lot of people, he was a real quiet reactivation. Not a lot of talk behind it, but he's also stepped into his role and played well, and they've adapted. They've been able to put Kobe Bryant and Rayshawn Jenkins on the field at the same time, as opposed in the first part of the season where it was really Rayshawn Jenkins and Julian Love who were the two safeties, and now we see a lot more Kobe Bryant, who's playing a lot more. He's playing safeties, but he's also in a lot more coverage. And we'll actually look at Kobe Bryant in one of the big plays that he made in this game later. So let's go ahead and watch this. And Cam, you can interject if you would like to.
Yeah. Can I interject right away? So
yeah, go ahead.
Just so everybody knows, Jason Myers is the 18th most accurate field goal kicker in the history of the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah. Jason
America.
Myers.
18th all time this year.
America.
All time, like for his entire career.
Wow. There you go.
85%.
He doesn't get enough love, man.
No, he doesn't.
It's awesome.
Yeah. All right, sorry, Jose. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I want you to watch Ernest Jones and watch him with the pursuit of the football. We've seen a lot of look at the plays back from the Jets last week, previous weeks, right? Ernest Jones is extremely patient linebacker, and his vision is, I mean, it's the best that, since we've been doing this last year, it's the best vision out of a linebacker that I've seen. Obviously, we've only probably reviewed maybe 6 or 7 linebackers, but he is the real deal. He knows how to play the linebacker position correctly. He knows how to read those gaps. He knows his eyes are on the ball the entire time. He's not overcommitting, which we saw with a lot of our linebackers in that San Francisco home game, right, where we talked about how they wanted to try and beat us outside this hash marks and outside those numbers, and how our guys were really overcommitting, and then they'd cut back and beat us inside. Not in this case, right? Ernest Jones. He sheds his block, first of all, but he makes that pursuit possible, right? He plugs that gap and prevents James Conner, who is one of the top running backs in football, forces him to cut outside. And at that point, when you make him good outside, you've got some of our fastest guys. You've got Devon Witherspoon out there, and you've got Kobe Bryant who's crashing down. This is what just made this defense run defense. This is what's made this run defense elite, in my opinion. There you go. Spoon doesn't even need to make the tackle. You've got him outside of the numbers where you can force him out of bounds. Really great contained by Ernest Jones.
Yeah, and so go to the sideline view real quick.
Yeah,
I just want to point out. I'll highlight 3 players on this play. Jaron Reed, one from each level of the defense. Reed.
1 second.
Jaron Reed, Ernest Jones, and Devin Witherspoon. So you also notice, right there and then right there. So the nose tackle, the middle linebacker, and the corner out here. So they've got 2 high safeties here. So and then go to the end zone. End zone. So you'll see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gaps, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defenders. If you want to count this receiver off screen and the cornerback, you'll have 1, 2, 3. You'll have 8 gaps and or 9 gaps and only 8 defenders, including Witherspoon. So the way you do this, right, when you're short a guy, right, they have 9 gaps, we have 8 players. You move, so you see how Jaron Reed is on the inside shoulder of this right guard, the left guard on right there, yep, instead of the outside shoulder of the center. Well,
yep.
So if we were to roll this safety down, you would have Jay Reed in a 1 technique, which is the outside shade of the center. But since we have two deep safeties, you shade him like that, where that blue line is, to free up Ernest Jones. So basically, Jay Reed's 2-gapping here. And you'll see what it does to this guard right here. If Jay Reed was on the center, this guard would have a free release to Ernest Jones, which wouldn't allow Jones to pursue this crack toss. So if you play the clip, you'll see Jay Reed look what the guard has to do. He has to respect Reed here. And then he also takes, instead of taking a power step into the backfield, he's reading the line flow, right? So in this case, the line flow is to our left, and he takes a 6-inch mirror step, right? So he occupies this guard, freeing up this gap. So there you go. And then Draymond Jones, and then he can't reach the linebacker. He can't reach Jones right there. So that frees him up right there. So they're
let me ask you in your analysis there. Obviously, that worked out
Yeah.
great. So is that just
holding.
good? Is that scheme? Yeah, read that too. Is that just good scheming by the defensive coordinator to line them up from the beginning before the play even happens? Is that why they're in such a good spot? Because they kind of already are anticipating that? Is that why they're in such a good position?
Yeah, if Reed was on the outside shoulder, if he was on a one technique outside shoulder of the center, this would have went. I mean, this one went right through this. What was it? The A, B, C gap, because that center would have immediately climbed to Jones, and then he would have hit that gap. But him being just a few feet to the left and then mirror stepping the line flow, it frees up Jones, which forces him outside into Spoon, who set a great edge. So this is perfect run defense, which I did not think we would have after last year. And then if you go to the sideline view, you can see Witherspoon set the edge. That's a corner setting an edge on a tight end. It's a 180-pound corner. That's incredible.
Yeah, and he's really been stepping up
Mm-hmm.
the last few games. Just when you think they've got the edge, he'll go out there and just cut a guy off. So
Exactly.
watching him and Jones, those guys have been awesome.
Yeah.
Watching them just prevent those big plays that normally we've seen the Niners and other teams just busting right through and going for 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
So seeing this for a 1 yard gain or no gain is amazing.
Exactly.
Got anything to add,
That's
Abel?
good stuff.
No, I mean, Ernest Jones has been making a big difference on this defense. We've seen him making plays. He had a pick earlier in that game. Great acquisition at the deadline.
They got to get him. They got to get Jones signed
Definitely.
sooner than later. That dude's got to not go anywhere because he has transformed this defense for sure. He's been part of it. All right, let's move on to the next one. You ready?
Yeah, just give me a second. There we go. Yep, getting it right up here. This is another play, and this is where I really start to see this scheme that Mike McDonald and the stuff that we saw in Baltimore really become evident, right? We're seeing a lot more confidence in this team, a lot more confidence defensively. And right now, one thing I've also noticed is that Seattle's really playing a lot, we're having a lot of our corners shade over these receivers, and it I don't know how to describe it, but it messes here because it messes around with it would mess around with me if I was the quarterback because I really don't know what's happening. Witherspoon, if we play this video, is showing blitz. He keeps backing in, he keeps backing out, and there's a tight end here, McBride. It's almost like the disguised look, right? Are these linebackers going to come? One of these linebackers going to go? And in reality, they all actually, everybody doesn't. I don't think anybody blitzes. They all drop back. And
yeah, before you play it,
right?
Before you play it, what coverage do you just ask Norb, what coverage do you think they're in? This is the disguise part.
What coverage do you think they're in, Norb?
Yeah.
Cover 2?
Exactly, yeah. If you play the clip.
Let me get out of
see.
it. Sad Hut.
Oh, it's
right.
It's not. Yeah, because now is that Bryant?
Bryant comes down to the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Bryant comes down to the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Murray's vision, right? He steps back. Murray's vision's all the way is Marvin Harrison Jr. He sees Love drop back right into that deep pocket here, and immediately his eyes are like, okay, well, the linebacker's eyes are turned. Maybe he follows out towards McBride. That gap right here is where he wants to put that football, and that's not going to happen because Ernest Jones turns right as Murray lets that ball go, right? The depth perception, maybe he doesn't think Jones is as far back as he thinks he is. And as soon as he's supposed to deliver that ball to Harrison, that ball's undercut and essentially picked off. And it's that disguised defense that Murray doesn't even see from that pre-play, right? It completely closes off. his left side and what is our left side of the play. This play is completely plugged off, and it essentially leaves him one throwing target to throw to, and that gap is also plugged by Ernest Jones. Gets the pick.
He read that so bad on the return.
Yeah. I thought he was going to go all the way.
I think a lot of analysts have said, "Oh, he threw it right to him." But I think part of what he saw before he threw the ball is, as you mentioned, Jones had his back to the receiver and it looked like he was shading to go to his right. And then right as he was about to throw it, he turns and pivots. And he doesn't pivot. I think it throws behind him, and it does get completed behind Jones. But he turns at the perfect time.
Yeah, so go to the – sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just talking about the read on the return. You can keep going.
I thought he was going to take it all the way.
He got tackled by a guy on the ground. But
yeah. If you go to the sideline view, this is like a cover 3 variation. So this is common against like 3-by-1 sets. You'll bring the safety to the strong side. This is called like strong rotation cover 3. So you rotate the safety down to the passing strength, which is the passing strength is where you set the nickel or where like the most passing threats are. So you'll rotate him down into this strong hook zone. And then the interesting part about this coverage is Ernest Jones is responsible for, it's called a 3-up player. He's basically responsible for the number 3 receiver going vertical. So, in Madden, like that 3 vertical or the 4 vertical.
Oh, yeah.
From 3-by-1. Yeah, and the number 3 receivers, like trying to get to the opposite numbers.
Yep.
That makes sense. That would be Ernest Jones' responsibility. So if that's what he's looking for. As soon as the linebacker eliminates himself, so as soon as he turns to the away from Jones, he basically just he squares up and gets to his landmark, which is 2 yards outside the hash, which is it's literally in the right in the dig window. If McBride would have went and ran that vertical, this dig probably is wide open. But because exactly, yep. But since he squares off, or squares up,
it's the angle.
Right, exactly. He gets into that dig window, and it's right there. That's really good by Jones as well. That's really impressive.
That's Nick LaBeau's player of the game right there, Ernest Jones.
Wait, can you like go to the? I'm not sure which angle it is, but I want to see the return one more time.
Probably this one, right?
Yeah, that probably would work. So, if he had gone to the other side and gone down the sideline, there's probably a chance he could have dove for a pylon. Like there,
if he goes left, it goes the left of the blocker instead of right?
Yep. And maybe this guy right here, circle him. He's like a few yards above the 10. Yeah, that guy. That guy probably maybe could have hit him, but even then, you're getting 10 yards more on the return.
Yeah. Midget Murray ain't going to do nothing. So.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great play. I mean, that just set the Seahawks up right there for their first touchdown. And
yeah, it didn't matter. We scored anyways. So.
Yeah. And it's great because I said, too, before at some point last week that if you can get Murray rattled, he's definitely not – when he loses composure quick. So if you get into his head, he starts to really –
Was it back-to-back drives he threw a pick?
Yeah.
Was it back-to-back drives that he threw a pick?
Yeah. First time, I think, in his career he's thrown back-to-back picks. At least with the Cardinals. This is the ensuing play, isn't it?
Should be the ensuing play. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at this.
Our focus is going to be. I took a freeze frame of right before Geno threw it and just marveled at the pocket he gets here.
Yeah, God forbid we got five offensive linemen. God forbid, how many seconds do you think Geno's going to have in the backfield? Holy moly! Especially with Lake and Tomlinson back. No, I'm just kidding. JSN really, again, Cardinals really focusing on DK Metcalf, who's going to also run what looks like a dig here. These safeties are going to drop back, right? They're going to go into that prevent coverage. And it's all really, this is JSN's route running abilities, right? Kind of fakes inside, goes back inside to that corner post. And we're going to see it here because I really drew off the screen. So if you want to count how many seconds Gino has in the pocket, you can also count as well. Fant goes in motion, right? It's very, very typical for our Ryan Garb offense. Goes in motion, right? Hooks right, stop, right here.
That's the picture. Look at that.
Right. Goes on that out route. Lockett comes in. He's actually open as well. Maybe if Gino has maybe a second and a half longer, he's made those throws, right? If he can get it to DK at that left hash mark there's a possibility unless that safety really does come crashing down and commits, because it doesn't look like Metcalf can turn up towards the end zone.
He's also got the easy check down for 5 yards if he chickens out and doesn't want to risk anything.
Yeah, exactly. But it really comes down to JSN's savvy route running that takes him out of this corner end zone. The safety's footwork is all over the place. He's beat. You freeze the frame right here. This is preseason and these are third stringers. The guy's cut, right? He's flat. Look how deep this safety's playing compared to this one. And he's flat-footed. His feet are dug into the ground. He's not going anywhere. You see, he almost falls over. And Gino knows exactly. Gino sees that. He puts it exactly in the correct spot. JSN, for some reason, body catches it. I guess he had to, but catches it. And we'll get a better look here at that offensive line protection. Which,
can you bring up one point? I want to see if Cameron agrees with this. But just to answer that whole DK question about how what he does away from the ball is just as important as what he does when it's thrown to him. But can you talk about the coverage on DK and why this play is so effective? Because JSN and basically all the other receivers are one-on-one, but DK kind of has extra help, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so this is
guys on him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's really like this is cover 6 or cover 8. I can't remember, but
if I'm
playing, go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the deep safety playing in that zone, kind of between the hash mark and the 10-yard line. And then they have the man, and then the 2 linebackers playing zone.
They're kind of playing zone to DK's side, and then they're playing quarters. It plays out like man down here.
Right.
But yeah, this is like the half. This is cover 2 to DK. So they've got the safety help. They've got the linebacker in that window and in the corner over here. So they're kind of triple teaming him.
He's still kind of open.
And that leaves JSN one-on-one, who on that
exactly
has no chance.
Exactly.
Well,
the quarter basically the quarters concept they're playing is if you rewind the play just a little bit, the corner, you'll watch the corner at the start of the play. Look where he's looking at number 2. He's looking at at JSN, right? So he's reading him. If he goes past 5 yards, Tyler Lockett's his guy, no matter what he does. But that leaves JSN one-on-one with a safety. Like, he's got a two-way go. That is a scary situation.
Yeah, he has an option.
Right, exactly. And that backside safety's playing DK. So
I think, like how Sky-High said, DK is still in like the slightest possibility. If Gino was forcing it, Gino could, like right there. He's not even that, covered.
Yeah, if he just gets it over his head,
If he gets it over his head, it might be a hospital catch, but if you try and hospital catch DK Metcalf,
it's kind of like the Atlanta Falcons catch that DK made, the touchdown reception he made at the end of the first half of the Falcons game. It's kind of I don't know if it's exact route, but it's similar in that idea that he's coming from the left side towards the middle of the field. And
because even
Gino had a narrower window on that one because he threw between 2 defenders that were only like 6 felt like yards apart when that ball came through.
Because even when it's a hospital ball, the DK, he'll still body the guy. His physical ability will knock him down, usually 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I saw the kind of like
the hospital hit on him was going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Right, and when we talk about savviness for JSN, I mean, look at this. He's in full cut mode, right? And then he kind of slows down here, sees that ball, reads it, goes to the second level there. It doesn't look very much, but if you slow it down, you'll watch his speed really slow down. Then he speeds it up just at the last moment. to really pull away from that defender. Nothing you can do. Maybe we'll get a
It
better
wasn't.
look from that zone.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible coverage either. He was only one step behind in the corner.
Well, right then and there, Gino should be able to throw that ball because this guy's, I mean, he's stuck in, it's like quicksand. He's stuck in the sand. Wherever JSN goes, he will follow. He's going to be following, trailing. So JSN, it looks like at this point, when you look at it in the film room, he's going to be open as a result of this play. Gino obviously puts a great ball into the end zone, and Jason go hugs the fan. Everybody's seen that over social media, right? Yeah, hippie, right?
But look at that. Let's just look at that pocket one more time. It's just a
How many
glorious.
yards does Jason have this year?
He's our leading receiver. He's got about 800
He's
plus.
he's gonna get 1,000.
Yeah. Go ahead. And
If it
pull
goes
that
the
up
way
for
it's
you real
going,
quick.
he'll be there in no time.
Yeah. He's got actually 911. So, and DK's got 800,000.
He'll hit 1,000 next game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Foreshadowing.
Let's see that pocket one more time.
Yep. Go ahead and let me X out of this tab real quick. Count with me, Nord.
Just freeze.
1 Mississippi. 2.
Oh, that's a
I mean, he's got all day. He's got all day. It doesn't. I mean, it's only 20 yards to the end zone, right? We're taking a shot to the end zone, but he's got all
There's not
day.
even pressure, even after
No
that.
pressure. Right? Yeah. Our guard.
He still
we're-
has-
Look at that right
he
there.
can still scramble.
double team in the nose. We've got our 2-0 linemen. Even Tomlinson's doing a decent.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's
Stop
coming in
standing in the middle of
hat.
nowhere.
Gino's got like a 4-yard cushion between each of the
Usually
players around.
you'd see Tomlinson just standing around in between the hashes.
Yeah, and usually by this time Gino's running for his life or he's being backed out because there's a guy in his face. So
He could
it's a
scramble
great
for
thing.
another
It
3
was so
seconds.
fun to watch.
Boom.
All right, let's go to the next play.
Throw.
We'll be here all
Absolutely.
night marveling every single offensive possession that we
Why?
have.
Why not though?
Why not?
You know what
I
I
know. We
mean?
got to cherish these moments. So hopefully we'll have a lot more of them to come in the next 4 weeks.
Here we go again. This is a Cameron selected play. Here we go again, right? This time we line up those. We got our 2 D tackles here in our edging. Sorry. Huh? All right. We'll keep going. And we'll let this play out. We talk about Kobe Bryant having a really good game. Those linebackers lined up really close to each other. Possibly showed blitz. Woolen comes across. Murray steps up. Hall gets all the way there. And right then and there, right? I guess this comes down to the ball that you can throw. Kyler can either really lead his receiver across the field and throw kind of like a low arcing pass, or he can just do what he did and kind of put the ball right at the numbers and then just rainbow it over there. But he doesn't see that Kobe Bryant's read this perfectly, right? And that Seattle, once again, like you said, is shading to that pass-heavy side, and they're bringing Marvin Harrison all the way across as that intended target on that post route, and Kobe Bryant just comes and undercuts it. And again, Murray kind of in a collapsed pocket, right? You know, he's not the tallest of guys. He's got Leonard Williams in his face. He's got Byron Murphy, who's right crowning down on him. Everything's really plugged up. He thinks he has that one thing open, and it's picked off by Kobe Bryant. And again, Seattle looking like it possibly could be cover 2. I don't think this is. And then they really just drop back into almost a very weird looking zone coverage.
Yeah, it's the reason that it looks like cover 2 is because they actually blow the coverage. I remember Mike McDonald said I think it was a press conference, I don't remember, but it might have been in his interview.
Is that why we have 2 guys on the guy at the 40-yard line?
Yeah,
Somebody
exactly.
went the wrong way there.
Yeah, it should be cover 3. Either Julian Love. Yeah, it's Julian Love who blows his coverage. So if you go to the start of the play, you'll see, again, from too high, right? So you remember the 3-up player I was talking about that Ernest Jones was playing?
Yeah.
That basically is what Julian Love is doing now. It's basically just another variation of cover 3. Same coverage, just different guys doing different things. The Legion of Boom did that a lot. They only played cover 3, but they did it like a lot of different ways. So basically, who is that? Tyrese Knight. Tyrese Knight is basically playing this weak hook, right? And then Or wait, no, sorry.
That's
What is
Tyrese Knight right there, the 35
that is Knight?
tight end.
Yeah,
What
it is.
what does he do on this play? I want to see. I think he's actually got the back. Yeah, so he's got the flat, I think, right? He's got the back, I think, if you play it. Yeah, so he's got the flat. Yeah, and then Woolen basically, I think they're playing match down here. So Woolen basically he's man on this single receiver over here, and then Tyrese Knight's man on this running back. And then Witherspoon's buzzing. He's playing the flats, and then Job's playing the deep third, and then Kobe Bryant's playing the middle third, and then Julian Love should be playing the 3 up, which means he takes number 3 vertical. So he should be getting underneath of this route, right underneath the Cardinals logo, which would then help Kobe Bryant, right? Because he can't. I mean, that's a very hard route to cover.
Yeah.
But I mean, he makes an incredible play. I mean, that's like Earl Thomas level stuff right there. Like,
It
dude,
kind of helped because the pressure forced him into a bad throw because that ball
Right,
was like
exactly.
it was a rainbow passes. He didn't zip it in there, which if he'd zipped it in, it would have been probably completed. But the fact that it floated there, and it kind of worked out because it kind of baited him into thinking he had this open spot, right? So the mistake actually ended up being a maybe a good thing because he went there thinking it was open and
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
why
then
they
that's the beauty
nominated
of
him.
having coverage. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying they nominated him for the Pro Bowl. It's one of the reasons why.
Oh, is he in the Pro Bowl?
Not yet, but they want him. That's like one of the guys they were advertising.
Oh,
You're
okay.
talking about for Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Two picks against these two teams, or the same team in 2 weeks almost. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy,
the pressure.
The pressure. Yes.
This is like a Geno style pocket. you
Yeah.
know? Like as soon as he hits that back foot, there's a guy already on him. That's kind of what happened here.
Except I don't think Geno puts the ball to where it's undercut and rainbows it.
Yeah,
I think Geno's smart enough to know to put that ball way towards the sideline.
Usually.
You can do that. Usually, yes. Yes. And Leonard Williams, obviously, we're not going to talk about him, I don't think, too much tonight, but he's playing at an all-pro level right now. No reason he should not be all-pro defensive lineman. And possibly, I mean, if he continues to improve, defensive player of the year votes could be a possibility. He could show up on a few sheets. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to play number 6. I don't remember if this is offense or not. Let me go ahead and take a look. Okay. I remember this play. Okay, so Cameron picked this play, and I think I know the exact reason why he picked this play. Norb, does this defensive formation look familiar to you?
Yes, this is the Leonard Williams pick formation.
Yes, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
I don't know what you call that, but that's what I'm going to call it, the Leonard Williams formation.
Because these guys are going to drop into coverage, and it's quite literally the same situation. 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8. This is the scenario here. Goal to go situation, or goal to go, or first down at the 2 or something like that, right? And Cardinals are thinking, okay, well, we could probably bring a guy across here. By the way, Uchenna Nwosu, good to see him back. We could probably bring a guy across here, and again, these safeties are shadowing down here, right? And Julian Love's his assignment is probably going to be that tight end to come across. But we'll see it again here, and we'll see how it works this time. We don't get a pick 6, unfortunately. But Seattle once again showing blitz. In reality, they take that one step, right? They engage those guards, they engage those guys, right? Like you said, right? And immediately drop back into those 2 zones, right? Oh, God forbid. It's not Pete Carroll calling defensive tackles going into coverage like Carlos Dunlap. It's a defensive coverage that actually works, right? And we see them here. They drop back. They plug that gap immediately, right? So you think immediately, right? If you're the offensive coordinator, right, we could probably get a guy over the middle crossing with that pattern. Somebody underneath possibly over the middle, right? Maybe if Murray throws this ball, could Jaron Reed get a pick 6? He's right there. But essentially, this gap is plugged. Murray's got no choice but to try and put it over the head of the tallest player on the Seahawks defense. And that's a dangerous pass in itself, right? Could result in an overthrow and an interception,
Right.
but there's nobody back here to make this play in the end zone quadrant, and so you've got that gap plugged up, and it's incomplete. And
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, especially with a safety with the speed of Julian Love, it's a risky pass because he has that closing speed. He can come in, and you don't if it's more like a touch pass or not a bullet. That guy, that's a hospital throw. I mean, he's all over that.
Yeah. Jose, could you go to
I think as you're setting that up, I think you mentioned Pete Carroll, and I remember when they used to drop guys back. But I think what's different, and maybe you could speak to this because I don't know the details on it. But when we would drop back guys, they would just drop back immediately. But this whole rush and then drop back thing, I don't know, is that a Mike McDonald thing, or it just seems to change the dynamics and confuse the line and the quarterback? Just that extra little step. Baits them into thinking they know what it is before they find out it's not.
Now I want to go back to Baltimore defensive film, and see if they ever did the same thing when McDonald.
Yeah, they actually did.
So maybe that's just a scheme that he brought to Seattle.
Yeah, it's a different. So do you remember when the Seahawks switched to a 3-4 defense? Remember that all that talk? They switched to a 3-4 defense before supposedly the 2022 season.
Yeah.
They technically moved. So the reason they actually went to a 3-4 defense in 2020, and the reason you were seeing Carlos Dunlap in coverage is because you had 3 down linemen, 3 down defensive tackles, and then 2 outside linebackers, which was either Carlos Dunlap and KJ Wright. Right.
I remember Dunlap.
And you got to drop one of them, and you can't drop KJ Wright every time, right? Because you know where the pressure's coming from. So you gotta bring KJ Wright every once in a while and drop Carlos Dunlap, but they would just pick on Carlos Dunlap. So it wasn't like any pressures. It was just like how you play the 3-4 defense, and but this is like the technique that they actually teach this. Mike McDonald teaches this. These are like hot droppers, where you engage with the offensive line and then you drop, because it screws up their pass protection. If they were to immediately drop, they wouldn't worry about them, right? But since they engage with them, they're not able to slide out to help with Derek Hall, and I think is that Ernest Jones blitzing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to the end zone or the sideline view, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys up at the line and 4 in coverage, and you've got Julian Love playing 10 yards off of Trey McBride. You have no idea who's coming. Like, this is
Exactly.
This is beautiful. And then you drop the only 2 guys with their hands in the ground. The fact that they ran this exact same play just last week and it still worked says a lot. And then the other coaching point with these hot droppers is you're not like asking them to cover anybody or just like play a zone. You're just getting them to landmarks to just get in windows. And if you play it and go to the end zone view, you can see he literally, like, Leonard Williams gets into the zone right into the window. He pump fakes. If Leonard Williams isn't there, that's a first down.
He was looking for another pick 6, bro.
Exactly.
He was hungry.
Yeah. This is awesome.
So is it the hardest on the quarterback, or is it hardest on the line? Who is it really
Both.
messing with when they do that?
It's really messing with the line because, like, if let's say they just were to immediately drop out, like they're not engaging with the O-line, they can immediately just go slide out, right? Yeah, exactly. Adjust the protection. And it's also hard on the quarterback because you got 7 guys up on the line. You have no idea who's blitzing.
Yeah,
and I think
he's looking down the line, and
right.
The center's calling protection, the quarterback's trying to figure it out, and Yeah, you look at that, it's like, man, what formation is this?
Exactly.
There's
It
like
feels
7 guys.
yeah.
Who's coming? Are they all
It
coming?
feels like they're all coming, but there's only 4 guys rushing, and he's only got and he has like no time. So that's really what Mike McDonald really like. That's what got him hired, basically. Third down packages.
My dad
That's
wanted
awesome.
Vrabel.
Oh, Mike Vrabel?
Yeah.
Oh, when
The other
the
Mike.
coaching search.
I kind of
Yeah,
wanted him too.
He would have been a good leader,
Yeah.
Got good leadership skills.
Me and my Dave Canales.
About 5 weeks
Right
ago.
now, Mike,
Maybe we should have done that, but now it's all paying off.
Oh boy! All right. Well, that's
your bag of tricks.
Yeah, that's the genius of Mike McDonald right there.
how many more plays do we have?
We've got 4. We're cooking. We need to start cooking a little bit more, but
Yeah, we're like an hour into the show. I mean, we're doing deep dives on this, but let's pick up the pace here so it's not.
I apologize
too
for
long.
taking everybody's time. Once again,
No,
this 2 safety look, right? This is probably the most like D complex look, but I think we know that this is going to be a run. And I want you to watch. I believe this is Boye Mafe. I believe McBride tries to chip here, and he evades this chip. Tries to chip, doesn't, or block. Actually, his assignment changed to blocking. No chip.
I think he's just blocking. Yeah.
No chip whatsoever. But Mafe's speed. There's a natural gap here, right? And he runs through here, but if he goes through that gap, I didn't pay attention to what gap it was. But Tyrese Knight is waiting for him to make that stop. This is just plugged up by Seattle all the way. Boye Mafe, who he's kind of gone a little bit quiet after a really hot start to this season. Let him play. Bring him to the ground. Come on, guys. But it'll come back again. There it is. Again, making big plays and using his speed. We see that right through there. Just gets stopped, eyeing the ball the entire time. Doesn't fall over. Stays on his feet. Good technique. And that this gap is plugged. I mean, there's absolutely no way he's penciled in. No way to get out of this. And I guess all you need to do to tackle in football is just stop their forward progress, and they'll blow the whistle.
Let me back it up for a second. Let me just play devil's advocate. Let's say we know how Kyler Murray can run, right? So what happens if they do this as a read option? And obviously in a read option, the quarterback watches that end defender, and if he crashes down like that and he keeps it, he's got some room. But yeah, you got Kobe Bryant coming down as well.
But yeah, you've got Kobe Bryant and Ernest Jones, who obviously Ernest Jones we talked about as a high IQ football player. Kobe Bryant and Ernest Jones. Kobe comes down, he crashes down really hard. But I think from where the ball's handed off, he's got about 10 yards. So there's some time to recover. Ernest Jones also adequately equipped to really get a guy to give time to give a guy like Witherspoon or Joby to kind of break off their blocks at the edge and to get Murray to the outside. And lastly, they're in a really long distance down. So Murray's in all likelihood Murray's likely not going to keep it, which we didn't see much of that day.
Yeah, I think
out of the down distance on that one.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant crashing down that quickly, I think makes me think that he's the quarterback player there. And then if you watch, what's his face? I'm blanking on his name. 55. Draymond
Jones.
Yeah, Dre Jones. Yeah. If you watch him there, the edge that he sets, if he gets washed out there by I think it was the tight end or the right tackle? Oh, the right tackle, yeah. See, he closes that gap there, and that makes the running back hesitate and allows Boye Mafe, which that's really impressive by Mafe. That's got to be designed where he crashes down into that gap. And then, Kobe Bryant's the quarterback player, I think. And then if you go to the end zone view and you watch Ernest Jones, this is really good. This is like a small thing, but this is really impressive by him. His gap right here is the A gap in between the left guard and the center. Watch it close, right? That's why you don't shoot your gap right away. Watch it close because right there, And then instead of like overrunning it and getting into Tyrese Knight's gap, he stays patient. It opens back up. There he is. Like, it doesn't affect the play, but like that's why
Exactly.
the defense is so much better. Like, everyone's playing very disciplined to their gap.
Right.
It's very impressive.
Mike did something. I don't know what he did, but he did.
Yeah.
He did something to him. I don't know.
Maybe he just needed time. But and Ernest
time.
Jones. While you're getting the next play set up, all right. I can't ignore this question. This would be like almost an entire show topic, but Seattle Flight says, here's my question. Do you think after DK Metcalf and Geno Smith's contract ends, do you think Seahawks could keep both of them? If not, who would you keep? Grid Flow responds with, Geno's not the answer long-term due to age, and he has a ceiling. He'll never be a top 5 quarterback.
I agree with the first part of that statement. I don't agree with the second.
I could talk about Geno Smith all night. I could. Why is
like I
okay?
said, I feel like this is a show topic for an entire hour.
Sorry, go ahead, Norb. Go ahead.
But let's just talk about how do we answer this question though? Can they keep? Should they? And can they keep both Metcalf and Geno? We know that wherever DK goes, he's going to get paid, right? The way the receiver market was so inflated last year, and Geno's got one more year left, so they don't have to pay him yet, theoretically.
I have an opinion on this.
Your thoughts? Yes.
Okay. We've seen JSN turn it into a wide receiver 1 type of weapon this year. Tyler Lockett's not getting any younger. As much as I would love to say he's in his prime, he's not. Don't get me wrong, he's Mr. Reliable, but he's not putting up 1K seasons anymore, right? It's starting to go down. So we know that Tyler Lockett's not going to be our main guy. He could be a mentor for future wide receivers, but he's not going to be a key part of this wide receiver core for long. JSN is very young and looks very promising, especially from this year. I think DK Metcalf is a guy you'll only get once, maybe not in a lifetime, but you're not going to – DK Metcalfs aren't just lying around, you know? Obviously,
they need to keep DK. Is what you're getting to.
I mean, because you don't see those freak athletes always just come around the corner and fall into the second round. You know what I mean? It would just feel like a lost opportunity. Now the other way
where
you
does
look
that
at
put where does that put the Geno part of the equation then? So you say we keep
I think
DK,
Geno's old. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's aging like fine wine. Don't get me wrong.
Okay,
but,
so I'm trying to speed this up because we have to get to the end of the show. So
are
you basically saying that Geno should just play out his contract and they shouldn't renew him? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think you renew Geno.
Okay. All right. So basically what you're saying, keep DK, let Geno play out his contract, and they go a different direction. Okay, Cameron. You're itching on your seat over there.
Geno, you know what? I brought this up in our group chat with Jose last week. I don't know if you remember, but do you remember that live stream you did before the 2022 season with New York Vinny? How's he doing?
Yeah.
I just saw him at our watch party. He's doing good.
Yeah,
New York Vinny.
He was trashing Geno
this year, but I don't know.
You might have to because he was trashing Geno the whole show. I was defending him with my life. Everyone thought I was crazy talking about Geno Smith is going to start. No one thought he was going to start. I was defending him with my life in that live stream. And what do you know? He, career year.
Oh, was that the year before he got handed the starting reins when Russell, basically Russell's final year?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But like the things that Geno's good at is like, it's the mental part. Like I think, is this next play the Charbonnet touchdown?
No, it's a defensive play.
You're
gonna like it. Yeah, I got the sharp touchdown.
Okay, yeah.
Go to that right now? You want to transition to that right now?
If you want to, yeah.
Well, that's a nice segue.
We ain't gonna skip this play. We ain't gonna skip this play though.
Oh, that's right. That's this one. We'll come back to Geno. We'll come back to Geno.
Okay. Because this might be like the trippiest defensive prevent. I don't even know what we're looking at here.
Oh yeah. What's the down and distance? Was this late in the game?
Long.
No, it's not late in the game because it's still
second and 18, I think. No, third and 15.
So it's not the fourth quarter because they're going left to right. Is this the third quarter?
This is second quarter still.
The second quarter. Okay.
I mean, they could 100% bring everybody here, and I think they'd still be fine. this is I mean, this is a psychopathic look almost. In reality, Ernest Jones is going to drop back and hold that middle zone while everybody else is like, okay, let's go find our zones here. And we're gonna I think Witherspoon and the two outside corners, Job and Witherspoon, and they all kind of sit down along with Bryant. Bryant comes up and let me get rid of my stuff here. Love goes back into that deep third, right? And these guys really, their job is to really sit down in the soft zone here, and they wait. We're waiting here. Murray dumps this off, and then Witherspoon comes he's like a shot out of a cannon. He's like, shoot, let me get my 40 time in here real quick. He sees the ball, and Mike Macdonald talked about the relentless pursuit to the football, right? The discipline, discipline was a big thing, but the relentless pursuit on how everybody needs to get to the football. You all could share the tackle if you want. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, there's 8. I think the only guys that aren't really in position are these two to really turn and burn towards the football. Witherspoon's moving. He's moving at a lightning pace, and that's a fantastic tackle. That's textbook tackle.
They lost a yard on that play.
That's crazy.
No gainer lost a yard on a play where it looked like there was no one.
He's 20 yards away.
Yards of the receiver.
But look at where he's backpedaling and then he immediately starts moving forward. This is insane. Look, he doesn't slow down. He's backpedaling. Watch him backpedal, and then immediately accelerate. That is crazy.
Takes that step. We'll get a better look here. And I talked about how when Pete was here, he was Pete's ideal soldier type player. Go out all out, a fantastic tackler, which is Pete loved to bring those guys in. By the way, is this DJ Dallas?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think DJ Dallas got in the game. I don't think he got in the game.
Damn, after all that trashy talk.
I know. Yeah, no yards, no nothing.
Oh man. All right. Well, and Murray comes off. He dumps it off. Witherspoon. He beats Kobe Bryant, who's closer to the ball, and wraps him up by the legs. Perfect tackling. That's going to come up in the film room, and that's going to make Mike Macdonald have a super smile on his face.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know. Mike McDonald's gonna be excited. That's what's gonna happen. I don't know what he'll say to Spoon, but that's fantastic.
Insane. He might be the best player on the defense. I'm not gonna lie.
That might be the best play that he's made all year.
He's made a lot of good plays, man. He's made a lot of good plays.
That's the play when he's on a date with a girl.
That's one of those plays that no one's going to really put on any highlight reel because it doesn't end up in anything exciting. But the play by itself and what he accomplished with what was in front of him is amazing.
He covers 20 yards in 2 seconds. That is, and then makes the open field tackle.
The open field tackle.
Exactly.
And forces him out to the sideline. Even if he does get by him,
no,
he forces him to the outside to the sideline.
Do not say Trey Flowers.
Help him.
Trey Flowers misses that tackle.
Trey Flowers gave me nightmares.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get back. Actually, hold up. Yeah, we'll go ahead.
This Debo rumor going around.
I don't
think
that.
Time out. No, I want to address this just a tiny bit.
Debo.
Does anyone remember that Debo got drafted the same year as DK Metcalf? Granted, DK Metcalf's been in the league for a little bit now, but
Debo mid as hell.
Huh?
Debo mid. He trash. He ain't good. Nobody want him.
It was 2008. Was it 18?
He destroyed the Seahawks
19.
on Thursday Night Football.
19. Yeah, it was that. Yeah. That was his
19.
rookie year. Yeah. So no one's taking too much serious stock into this Debo thing.
No,
I don't even know what this Debo thing is.
I think they'd have to trade him. I think they'd have to trade him.
Okay, so yeah, I heard this too. Mike Florio said, I guess Debo's not happy or something, but believes the Seahawks are a potential landing spot for Debo Samuel. They're looking.
Why would they trade him to the Seahawks?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we should use Deebo Samuel's practically. I mean, we should be using Kenneth Walker like we use Deebo, like they use Deebo Samuel, in my opinion.
I had a question for you guys. Would you trade DK Metcalf to the 49ers for a pick?
No.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
DK Metcalf's hands off, in my opinion. He's an untouchable.
It would need to be a package. If they gave us 2 firsts and a second, then yes.
Right, but I don't. The point I'm making is like I don't think they would trade him to an interdivision rival. You know.
Oh no,
I think they'd
you
want to
would
send
never trade him to the Niners for Deebo.
No,
up, let alone a package. No.
All right, let's go to the next play before the show becomes like a 3-hour marathon.
Oh, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
I gotta get rid of
people
the
still
chicken
watching,
scratch,
so we
yeah.
must be doing something right.
I think this is the highest amount of viewers we've had.
I think we're actually gaining viewers the longer we're going here.
Let's go. Share this with all your buddies. I talked about earlier how we ran a lot of this zone, this pull stuff. The reason our play action, I think Cameron can agree with me, our play action sucks is because we actually run play action in the looks that we never run the ball in.
Yes.
And it just it pisses me off when we try and run with like Barner as our lead blocker in motion, and it just never works.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we don't run that in a play action look at all, so the defense is never confused. But this is fantastic here. I thought I'm going to butcher his name, Soto Laimoa or something like that, had a great game. They're going to pull these two, Lucas and Laimoa, off, and they're going to allow, I believe, Charbonnet to run through that B gap behind them on that lead block on the strong side of the football, right? That we talked about. And again, the reason I have this chicken scratch here is because it looks like, right, we've got Fant and Bobo out. It looks like really it could be possibly a screen. Maybe there's some deception there. And we'll take a look here and watch our 2 right offensive linemen. We'll get a better look in the end zone, obviously. There's a look at the screen, right? Follow those lead blockers, right? Cross comes immediately off. He comes off. Cross cannot just not do nothing with this defensive lineman, right? Or defensive end here. He has to chip him so he stops his momentum, right? And then it moves on to seal off that edge here and to really create almost this this look here where you've got your 2 big offensive linemen essentially rumbling down the B gap. Can't remember.
Watch the Laumea block.
It's not a text
straight out of IHOP.
It's not a text concept. It's not a text concept because we don't have Jackson Smith and Jigber Barner blocking. But you'll see here, and I guess he talked about. Oh, pancake block. Blocks Laumea. You've got Lucas, who's a fantastic. He's a fantastic blocker in space at times. And Cross. I mean, Charles Cross is 10 yards down the line of scrimmage. He's bringing guys with him, like the Blind Side, almost like that movie. Boom, 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 missed tackle, right? And at that point, Charbonnet's got all the space in the world. He's gone. It's perfectly executed. This relies on the offensive line with those 2 guys coming back there on those wham blocks. And it was just, it was perfect execution. So much so that JSN just starts walking in the corner. Perfect execution from perfect, Charbonnet turns on those jets. May not be the fastest guy, but he's the Cam Scatabo of the NFL. No, I'm just kidding. and only because they're like the same skin color.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You see Gino check the play?
Yeah, he does.
So he sees here. Go to the very start of the end zone view and see if they show the blitz. Oh no, they don't. I think they showed the blitz and then he checks it. And then this is kind of what I alluded to at the start of the show. Look at the defensive tackle in the B gap in between Laken Tomlinson and Charles Cross. And then I believe number 2 is an outside linebacker. I'm not 100% sure, but he would normally be on the edge here. But since there's 3 receivers off screen to our right, he has to bump out. And then they have a blitz coming on the backside. So Geno Smith checks it into counter, which brings Laumea and Lucas across. But this guy that you have circled, he can't set the edge because he's in the B gap, right? So that's an easy, I forget what block you call it, but he essentially pins him down, right? If he were to be on the edge and this was like a traditional 4 down front, this wouldn't have worked like it did. Probably wouldn't have been a touchdown. But they have no because the safeties blitzing. He can't track the pullers basically and make the tackle, and then it leaves the middle of the field wide open. So good on Geno for checking the play. Like this is the kind of stuff that a rookie quarterback is just not going to see. Like Geno Smith has been in the league for what 12, 13 years now, 12 years.
Yeah, almost as long as Russ.
Right, exactly, yeah. And a rookie quarterback, like he's seen everything. Like when you see that, you know what calls you check to, you know. So really, like Lomea, he's the kick out block, and then Abe Lucas is your lead blocker. And then once he gets like 5 yards downfield, that's all Zach Charbonnet breaking tackles. So yeah,
Really impressive. Just, I mean,
It's a beautiful thing.
I know if Geno, we talked about how high he's seen everything. He's a high IQ football player. I've used that term too many times today, but checking into those runs, that's part of the success that we're having as a run game is being able to adapt and the adaptability of the offense. You notice how we've kind of gone away from the college style offense of okay, let's snap it, mend the play, no huddle, line up, see what the defense is in, look back towards the sideline, get that new play in, change it.
I didn't notice that.
We haven't really run that. We haven't really had that much of that.
Did you see the signalers down there at all?
No, I haven't really seen many signalers down there.
That's an
I wonder
interesting
if they were.
observation.
I didn't even
shift in
notice
their approach.
Yeah.
For a long time it was like UW all over again. They line up and
Yeah.
everybody's looking over to the sideline. And
So Ryan Grubb is making adjustments. I don't know why I look so like I'm going in 3 frames per second right now, or 3.
I've been doing the same thing. Yeah.
But they're obviously making changes and they're making adjustments, and this is all Charbonnet. Takes it to the house, and I had a good feeling after this moment. We'll go ahead and get set up for our last play. And there's a young man who we really haven't called his name much, today or at all today. He goes by the name of Byron Murphy, and we're gonna give him some love today because I think he's still continuing to crush it. Again, we'll look at. It looks like it's a cover 2. Could be cover 2, maybe not. These linebackers are really shaded over to the left side. Meanwhile, our 2 down linemen are they're on the right side, more tending to the right side of the line. Woolen looks like he's all alone in man, which honestly doesn't surprise me. I think I'm okay. I'm 100% okay with letting them have Tariq Woolen play more in man coverage, especially if it's on his own assignment. I'm 100% okay with that. Much rather have that other than Joby. Though Joby has been, I talked about it, Joby's been good. He's been good. He's been better than Trey Brown. We'll see that here. Seattle looks like they're showing blitz. But Ernest Jones takes that last step in. He does come. Tyrese Knight's job is that running back looking for somewhere to really sneak out of. Knight finds him. But by then, right, Murray really, he's got nobody open. Love comes down. His job is to really occupy that flat. Woolen's working that one-on-one almost. Something just opened my computer. Microsoft Teams opened in my computer. That's weird. It's opened again. And I've closed it. Bryant's all alone. Harrison looks like he's going to work that dig. Actually works out to the corner of the end zone. But Byron Murphy, I mean, we'll go ahead and stop it right here. And we don't. The play results in an incomplete pass. But watch Byron Murphy just absolutely talk about how the lower man always wins in football. Gets lower than that guy, and he's just absolutely manhandled. I mean, he goes right past him. And if the down and yardage situation is a little bit different, I think this is a sack. I'm not going to lie, because they're working on a short field here. And that is not pass interference, by the way.
That is insane coverage by Witherspoon.
Yeah, it is. And we'll get a better look here. You're setting up for that blitz through that B gap almost from Jones. And Murphy's the only guy who really gets around his guy. Again, uses that footwork, that fantastic footwork that we love so much, that fantastic strength. I mean, he's huge. I mean, I'd love to see him get more sacks and, his name called more, but he's doing his job, and he's doing his job magnificently. And, I just wanted to throw out some love for him. All those Arizona fans in the back, let's pass interference. No. Nope. So, yep, plugged up. And like it's been all day after that first 2 drives, everything was covered up from then on for the rest of the game almost. We were getting OPI calls. And that'll conclude the review.
That's it for the plays,
You're
right?
muted again, Norb. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yep. No more.
All right.
We're done. I know you're happy.
Man. That was good. That was a good recap
Thank
of
you.
a very good day. So, all right. Well, let's shift because there were some questions about the Packers game. We're gonna do a
one
prediction
thing
in a
before
minute,
that.
But what do you got?
Okay. This is just something I wanted to point out. If you guys ever have been wondering about this, there's this thing on New York Times. You can just look it up on Google, and it's like a playoff simulator thing. So you can click on teams. So like you could click on the Seahawks, and you can pick the scenarios of what the outcomes of the games could be, and it can give you the percentage of how they'd make the playoffs, or if other teams won and the Seahawks won, then the percentage. It's really cool. If you ever want to play out the scenarios.
I think we did this last year
We did
with
that.
the
Yeah,
ESPN
ESPN
playoff
had
predictor.
a playoff simulator. I think there's several out there. I think in New York Times.
Yeah,
has
the one he's talking about is better in my opinion. I like
Which
the
one?
New
The
York Times one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Yeah, it's kind of fun to plug in. Like, okay, if we won this game, we win that game, and they lose that, see where everybody ends up, right? Because obviously that's the big question. We all know that we're going to be rooting for the 49ers.
Absolutely.
To beat the Rams on Thursday night, which will
Bang, bang, Niner game.
So let's shift to the game coming up, the task at hand, which is the big, epic Packers-Seahawks game here in Lumen Field Sunday night, prime time, only game on Sunday night. We won't do predictions yet. Let's just kind of talk about what needs to happen or what we think is going to happen, and then we'll do a recap of last week's predictions, and then we'll do our official predictions, and then we'll call it a night. So let's just get an overview of kind of like what do you see happening in this game without doing the score predictions yet. But what's just your overall feel of how optimistic are you feeling about what needs to happen on Sunday? Let's start with Jose. Is looking like you're back out of the 3 frames per second world, which is good. Let's start with you while you're still in good resolution.
Yeah, I've been kind of on a little bit of a hot streak here as of late, calling the keys of the game. Obviously, defense has been phenomenal, and I expect this to actually be the biggest challenge of the season for the defense. Not San Francisco, not Detroit. I think this Packers team runs the ball better than any other team in National Football League. They are going to be committed to the run, and Matt LaFleur is a run scheming genius. I guarantee you he's in the building this week talking up plays and how to beat our run scheme and beat our defensive run scheme. So we have to be prepared to stop the run. But we also have to respect their wide receiver, their passing game, because Jordan Love has a cannon. He's not necessarily like Aaron Rodgers, where he's not, old and immobile. He can get out of the pocket. He can make those plays. He can make those throws. And those receivers, they're sneaky good up there in Green Bay. And Green Bay by far is one of the most well-rounded teams that we're going to play this season. And this for the defensive side, we have to be able to stop the run. If we stop the run, we force them to pass. If we force them to pass, I think I like our odds in the secondary with the way that Rick Wallen, Devon Witherspoon, our guys have been playing. But we're going to have to rally to the ball. We're going to have to be disciplined. Mike McDonald, I know, is getting after that in that meeting rooms these weekends. As for the offense, if it really isn't broken, don't really try and do too much with it. I guess still kind of get creative. We don't know if Kenneth Walker is going to be available this Sunday. If not, Jack Charbonnet all the way with Kenny McIntosh. Let's get a good healthy mix of those guys going with those schemes that we saw last week. Maybe try something new again. Continue to tinker with it. And I expect again the pass game to continue to have a positive effect. But again, this game for the offense falls on the offensive line. If Geno has time in that pocket, we're going to be able to open up that run game. We're going to be able to run our terrible play action with some success, and we'll be able to run the ball and be able to keep that defense on their feet, which we kind of did in Arizona. And I think we can find success if we do that. Obviously, have a good game from special teams as well. Oh, now Norb's muted, and
No, I gotta keep doing that. Not the
Come on,
prediction,
Norb.
but your overall sort of keys to this game. What do you see happening Sunday night? We're getting a prediction in a minute, but yeah, just overall, what's the keys to getting a victory here?
Yeah. I think we looked back at this Cardinals game, right? And we saw a lot of things, a lot of general things happen and executed that helped us kind of dominate that game throughout. And one of those biggest things was the O-line. I think it was 0 sacks, 2 QB hits, 170 rushing yards, and like 5.7 a carry. If we can get our O-line solid like that, because, Green Bay has a pretty good pass rush. If we can, keep that solid, not have any crazy Green Bay defenders, hitting Geno all game or penetrating the line, then I see a lot of great things happening. And establishing the run game. That's the other second half of that. If we can establish the run game and keep the pressure away from Geno, I think our offense can get rolling. Because then you got to also worry about our three-headed dog in Jason, Metcalf, and Lockett. So if those two things can happen on offense, we'll get it going. Now on the defensive side, I do think it'll be pass rush and keeping that defensive scheme going. Like the ones we talked about, the hot drops, I think it was, and those type of creative schemes that help us win games, and getting to Jordan Love, like Sky-High said, he's a mobile quarterback. He's going to be hard to sack, but if you can bring him down, and we can bring back our defensive schemes and just execute all around, I see us having a great shot at winning this game. And again, special teams.
All right, Cam.
We need to run the ball. We need to run the ball. If we can't run the ball, we're not winning this game. Like, Geno Smith can't be the hero every week, on offense. We need to be able to run the ball. From what I've seen, I think the Packers are a 4-down front, so I don't know if that counter this week we averaged like 13 yards a carry, which is insane. I don't know if it works as well as it did this week. So we need to run the ball. Defense just needs to keep doing what it's doing. I'm a little nervous though. Like, I hope the last 3 weeks we played the Cardinals twice and then the Jets, the 3-9 Jets. Like, I hope the defense is for real, but it makes me pause just a little bit. And then I go back to the 49er game. Like, they had Christian McCaffrey, they had Brock Purdy. So, I mean, I think the defense is good to go. I think they're for real, but I'm still worried about the run game. As if we play defense and run the ball, we'll win this game. Those are my keys.
Yeah, I think you guys kind of said it all, but I guess I'll just go back to, our team is just, you kind of just look at the progression, right? Everything has been slowly progressing in the right direction, and you want to be playing your best football at this time of the year in December. And as I said, the defense has been playing lights out for really 5 games now. They've kept the opponent defensively under 20 points for the last 5 games, including that Rams game that we should have doggone won.
I forgot about that.
That game, they scored 26, but that's because they had a pick 6 in the red zone, right? That never should have been a game that we lost, but we did, and that's what we had to deal with. But so the defense is there. Now the question is, as I brought up in the beginning part, is this offense that we just broke down? We saw these amazing plays, the amazing pass protection, the execution of the line blocking. If that's the new bar, and that's just where they've progressed to. That definitely sets up what like you said, Cam, we've got to be able to run the football. I've been saying it. I made a video entirely dedicated to saying if we don't run the football, we're not going anywhere because every team in the playoffs runs the football. It doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. You got to have a running game that goes with it, period. So we're going to have that if we're going to have to get past these 2 teams because these next 2 teams are really potential previews of who we're going to be playing in the playoffs. So you kind of want to be able to show that we can beat these teams, preferably beat them or at least beat 1 or 2 of them, but at least be in the game where it's like, okay, we can hang with these guys because if we can hang with them now, we might be able to hang with them come playoff time. So This is going to say a lot in the next 2 weeks, but I agree with you. We got to run the football and just keep doing what we did in this last game. Didn't turn the ball over. Geno had time. He played like a top 5 quarterback to me in that game. And the defense was just lights out as usual. And you get you win the turnover battle like we did early. Whew, man, I mean, great things happen. So, yeah, I would love to see Seattle. It's so rare that we're up, especially up a large amount like we were in that game. It's almost like, whoa, we have like a 2-touchdown lead. What do we do with ourselves now? So it's nice to see that. It's a great place. We're so rarely in that position. So it's awesome that they were. So I'd love to see that again. But, yeah, we're going to have to run the football for sure to let that be in our favor. Okay, so
and hey,
we're
before we get into prediction, I've got some words from the man who's absent today, Nick LaBow. He'd like to say, he says he'd like to tell everyone that he misses them, and that his player. Yeah, I've got a whole script from him. Yeah, I mean, you can see the. I mean,
it's going to be a 3-hour show.
Yeah, man, his player of the game, Ernest Jones. Charbonnet's the easy pick, but for Jones, should be highlighted this play. For his play this game, since we traded for him, he's been such a crucial piece to this defensive turnaround, and it was evident Sunday. The interception was awesome, but he's just a sideline-to-sideline player and commands the defense so well. Shout out to the offensive line. They played a great game Sunday, and we were able to see firsthand what the offense looks like when our running backs have lanes open and Geno has time in the pocket. It was awesome. The keys for Green Bay. We'll have his prediction. I've got his prediction on a picture. So he says, the keys for Green Bay, the 12s need to be allowed. Green Bay's a tough team that always plays well against us, but this is our biggest freaking game of the year. It's on Sunday night effing football. Football in Seattle. 12s need to be live up. 12s need to live up to the 12s title. Scream and yell when defense is on the field. Get off your phone, is what he says to the fans. O-line should build off the momentum of Arizona and play hard. Give Geno the time of the pocket and get that two-headed monster of Walker, fingers crossed, and Charbonnet running the damn ball. If the line gives them the holes they need, then there is no reason our run attack can't complement both running backs. Get it going like on the ground, Detroit style. Defense has got to do what the defense has been doing. Jordan Love is good QB, and we saw what Josh Jacobs did last time he was in Seattle. Norb had an extreme crash out when that happened.
I was
the Raiders game, that was a big crash out from NORBFAM. Don't let them.
That was a bad defense.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a bad game. Don't let them cement the rushing attack at all, and force them to throw the ball. That's how you force turnovers, and we've seen them the last 5 weeks. Let EC double EMC ECMM Emerald City Mike McDonald cook. Play smart football. No need to kill ourselves with penalties. This sounds like a Coach March text almost. No need to kill ourselves with penalties. Play primetime football. Go Hawks. And we'll find his prediction after this.
Wow. Okay. Well, he left no stone unturned on that one.
No, he didn't.
Okay. So before we get into predictions, we got to do a couple things. But first thing I got to do is I got to shout out the sponsor of this video, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Always got to shout out BetUS. Yes, thank you. I got to go full screen on this to do it, though. So BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, if you sign up right there with that code YouTube150, you get 150% match on your first deposit and then 125% on your next two, which is pretty cool because that way you can have more money to play with and, just give you a little bit of flexibility in the start. But make sure it's not void where prohibited and you got to gamble responsibly. All right, so let's say you're going to check out this game. Of course, we're all going to be watching with bated breath on Thursday. And here's the game that got the odds on this one right now. San Francisco being the 2-point favorites at home. We kind of like that against the Rams. So if you were to take that YouTube 150 code, put a little money in your little coffers there, you put in $100 on that game. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty even payoff. Well, actually, it's not even. It's 83 on that one because
what are these odds?
Pretty close. I know the odds are not. That's how close this game is, right? But let's see what the Seahawks Packers are getting. Last checked, the Packers were 3-point favorites. It's going down to it, and indeed they are. Packers by 3 right now. I'm going to clear this off. So let's go back up here. Green Bay by 3. Let's say, no, I think you guys are wrong. I'm going to take the Seahawks to pull the upset. You put down $100 on that. What are we going to get? Same thing, 83 on that. So
try and click on the 129. Click on the other things. I want to see how much you would win. Oh. Okay, yeah. Place a bet here.
129.
There we go. See, there we go. There's our there's our positive net.
There you go. So yeah, it all just depends on what you get real creative on this. Which is crazy. You can prop bets. You can go on who's going to have the most rushing touchdowns, who's going to have the most passing yards, blah blah blah. I mean, there's so many ways to win. So, but just make sure you control yourself. All right, don't put out more than you can afford. All right, so that's BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. So check it out. Let's now go to the predictions for this game. But before we do that, my favorite part here, I always love to go to the preview or the review of our predictions from last week. This is what we all thought was going to happen going into the game against the Cardinals. Check it out.
It's going to be pass rush, and it's going to be defense. Last time we played the Cardinals, great job with both. If we contain Kyler Murray like we did again, you're going to win. You don't let McBride catch all over you. You have a great chance of just controlling the game. We'll get the pass game going. Jason and DK Metcalf will have over 70 yards. I think K9 will also have a good game. 2 touchdowns. So I do have the Seattle Seahawks winning 28-24.
Nick LaBeau's prediction, 17-10 victory. The Seahawks have the key to beating the Cardinals because they did it just not even 2 weeks ago. Contain Kyler Murray. They've got to minimize the yards from James Conner, keep the yards under 100, and minimize the damage from McBride, that tight end. Run just enough, convert just enough, don't turn the ball over. Special teams just have to not make mistakes. I really believe our defense has arrived, and they just got to keep doing what they're doing. The Seahawks win this 27-24.
We have to be explosive of offense. We have to control the side of the ball. We can beat this team defensively. I know it. I know our defense is good. The offense has to do their part. We have to get more points because this Cardinals team is not going to come out and be flat like they did a few weeks ago. They're going to be a little bit better, but if we can control the line of scrimmage, if we can run, if we can throw effectively down the field, get to Kyler Murray, have our linebackers continue to play great, we have a good shot to win this game by the score of 19-13.
I think my hand got tired of pushing that bell sound effect so many times. I don't think we've ever had so many bells in one game. But that's how good, that's how on we were on. We just didn't give ourselves enough credit thinking we were going to score 30 on the Cardinals. Then again, we didn't think we were going to get 2 pick sixes or 2 interceptions in the first few minutes of the first quarter. But that's what happens. All right, so pretty good. That's one of the few times we actually did really well with our predictions. And I haven't brought this up, but I'm doing it today. I actually tallied our prediction scores of the few shows we've actually done. It's not been consistent, obviously, but here's where it stands, I think, based on last time. So me and Abel are tied for 4. Jose with 3 and Nick with 2. This is unofficial.
You guys picked the Seahawks to lose.
I know, that's why. We're realistic that way. All right. Cam's new to this, the whole prediction thing this year, but excited to break this thing down. So we'll go in the usual order that we do. So let's start with Abel. What is your prediction this week against the Green Bay Packers Sunday night?
It'll be a thriller. First of all, I'll be there. It'll be fun, okay? It will be cold, though. And Green Bay's used to that, but that's okay. This is in Seattle, okay? I see this being a very interesting, fun, and close game. However, it'll be very tough to keep that Packers offense enclosed. But I think we'll do it. I think JSN will have more than 70 yards. I think you know what? Scratch that. JSN's going to get 1,000 this week. He's going to get that 1,000 mark. And I think K9's back, and he's going to do the same. He'll get over 100 yards, okay? Our defense will be good. We'll get over 2 sacks. Big Cat's going to have a good game. I think it'll be high scoring, but I think we'll control it. Tom Grossi, go eat some cheese. We're winning 27-24.
Ooh.
27-24. Whew. That sounds really stressful, man. It's really stressful, but a good game nonetheless. All right. Let's go to our missing persons prediction.
Yes,
How about we do that? Let's do Nick LaBeau. So do I go to you or do I go to our alternate screen?
Oh, you go to. I'm sharing it right now. So.
Okay. All right. So prediction from Nick LaBeau. Here it is.
Oh, look at that. Seahawks on vacation somewhere. Seahawks win 24-17 in OT. Oh my goodness, that'd be awesome.
Oh man, nothing like an exciting OT game with the Packers and the Seahawks. No stranger to OT. How old is this picture of Nick, by the way? It looks like it's from like 5 years ago or 6
Oh boy!
years ago.
So this picture is of him in 2020, I believe.
Back when his voice was 2 octaves higher, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Cam. Let's get Cameron's prediction for this Seahawks Packers game.
Yeah, I've been very optimistic. I haven't been this excited for a Seahawks game in probably since the playoff game against the 49ers, but I kind of knew we were going to lose, but it was just happy to be the playoffs. But like, this is one of our biggest games since probably 2020, right? I can't think of another one, but I think this is the game that I think we're gonna go deep in the playoffs this year. I think this is our offense's breakout game. I think everything like really comes together. Last week it was the running game. The passing game's kind of been there all year. I think the running game we run for like 100 yards, and in the passing game it all comes together. Our defense keeps doing what they do. I think we win 33-13.
Yo!
Wow. Oh, okay. I like that. 33-13. That's a little bit more of a spread that I could get used to.
If we get our asses kicked this season, you're going to get flamed.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's a bold prediction, but
you're cooked.
It's a bold prediction, but
all right. Well, I guess I'll take in the usual way that we do it. We always save Sky-High for last, wondering if he's going to go dramatic on this, or is he back? He's probably not going to mess with a win streak and just keep it serious, because ever since he's gone serious, we've been winning. So I'll take this next one. So Seahawks Packers, I see this game being the game of the year. Everything's coming together. Defense has already been there. The offense was a breakout game against the Cardinals. I believe they'll keep it rolling in this game. It's the energy in the building is going to be off the hook. We're going to have Seahawks fans going nuts. We're going to have Packers fans, unfortunately, invading the building too. They're going to be going nuts. It's going to just be loud in general. The entire city of Seattle is going to be rocking seismograms everywhere just by the nature of the crowd that's in there. But I believe the Seahawks are going to play their best game. The offense, we're going to have over 100 yards of total offensive rushing. JSN will get his 1,000 yards that evening, which means he's going to get, what, didn't we decide he has to get like 80-something yards to get to
he's got to get 89.
1,000? 89. He'll get 89 in this game. DK and Tyler will both get, they won't get as high, but they will get a sheer amount of catches. Defense is going to get at least, we're going to win the turnover battle, and defense is definitely going to get a pick and maybe a fumble as well. But I see this game going back and forth. It's going to be high scoring. Packers are going to get their rushes in. They're going to be tough to stop because they're going to definitely want to win on the ground, because I feel like you stop the Packers on the ground and they have to throw. We've seen Love get a little crazy with the football and get a little turnover crazy. So I feel like that's going to be what we're going to have to do. We'll keep them in check, but we get a couple breaks our way. Jason Myers is solid. The special teams just keep doing what they're doing. No special teams blunders. And at the end of the day, there is no overtime. The Seattle Seahawks prevail 33-27 in a high-scoring, nail-biting,
We have a
fun
lot of those scores
evening.
in the chat.
I know. I saw somebody before I even started. I saw a 33. Where was it? There was the exact same score. Somebody had a 33. I was like, man, you just took my score. Where is it? Right here.
But I
12
think
go. 12 go at 33-27.
I think last week
But-
during your music prediction video, it was a different score than on Real Talk.
It was. I changed it. We did it, and I was like, man, I think I went too high. I started thinking too much about that we're not going to be able to score that much, and then we went the opposite direction. But let's go to Sky-High. Save the best for last, or will it be? Let's find out. Sky-High Aviation, your prediction: Seahawks Packers Sunday night.
Seahawks Packers, this gives me vibes of, the last time we had a real Sunday night football game in Seattle with fans in the building. If you discount 2020, I believe it was 2018 against the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs. And that was a game where, you guys talked about putting it all together. It really felt like we put it all together that game with Russell Wilson slinging it everywhere, Doug Baldwin legacy game. The defense was forcing turnovers. We beat Patrick Mahomes that night. How many teams can say they've done that in the past few years? And I think it's going to be a similar atmosphere to that. I think our guys are going to go in. Our fans, obviously, we're highly intelligent. Some of us highly intelligent fans. Everybody in this group is highly intelligent, obviously. Some of them, some of us. I think we're going to come in and we're going to know that this is a big game. And we're going to be fired up. We're going to come into the stadium, and we're going to just – it's going to be like we're going to blow the roof off this place. That's how it should be. If now is the time, tonight is the night where we say this is where football has returned to Seattle. Because the last few years, it's kind of been, hey, we're just up there doing our thing, right? Doing our thing. Yeah, the 12s. 10 years ago, we got 3-4 Sunday night football games a year. We got 7-6 primetime games. I want it back like that. I want these guys to come back again next year and do more Sunday night football games. I want the world to be put on notice for this team that football, the right kind of football, is back in Seattle. And I think we're going to show that on Sunday. I think we're going to run the ball successfully. I think Geno's going to have an excellent game. I think he's going to go 26 for 28 on passes. I think the defense is going to lock in. Granted, it's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to be a fun one. And I think this is our, if we haven't had it already, this is our coming out party in front of this national audience that, hey, you may have thought we were a few years away. Nah, screw that. We're here now, and we're going to play now. And this is the mark of return of football, real football, to Seattle. And I think we're going to win this game. If we, like I said, we run the ball, the defense, our linebackers play good. If we get the ball to Geno, or if we get the ball to DK, to JSN, and I'm feeling a little trick play. I feel like we may have got something up our sleeves, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe a little trick play sprinkled here and there, a little razzle dazzle. I think we win. Yeah, I think we win the game by a score of 30-27 on a game-winning drive by Geno. He evades the sack. Getting a little dramatic here. Evades the sack, runs out of bounds at the 34-yard line, and we've got a Jason Myers game-winning field goal to blow the roof off and to put the world on notice.
Eat cheese, Green Bay.
Bring the cheese grater.
Man, I got goosebumps listening to that speech, man. I could hear the music behind you, even though it wasn't there. I could imagine it being there. Oh, man, that was good. You got me all pumped up.
Doesn't it feel like 2018 again?
It
No,
does,
stop saying
man.
that, bro.
2018, not 2012.
Not 2012. Ah! Does this mean we're going to go
what?
5-0?
You know what, though? I will say this, though. This feels a lot like 2014, though. You remember what happened in 2014? We had lost to the Chiefs in Kansas City in a really bad game, and we dropped to 6-4. This is after our Super Bowl 48 win, remember? And everybody's like, oh, my God, what's wrong with the Seahawks? They're not going to make the playoffs. And then they had that come to Jesus meeting, and Camp Chancellor got the team together, and they riled behind them, and they were like, who are we? This is not Seahawks football. We're gonna turn this thing around. And then they went the rest of the season undefeated and got the number 1 seed 12-4. It feels not, granted, the number 1 seed is not really in the cards here, but the feeling of the turnaround where there was a point in the season where you said, hey, I kind of like the way this football team feels right now. It was kind of not feeling that way in the earlier part, but now things have turned, and it's like you said, it's momentum gaining to where this is what Seahawks football is supposed to be like. I get excited when the defense goes out there. There was a while there for the last couple of years, every time the defense took the field, you're like, oh God, the defense is going back on the field. No. Now it's like, oh, I can't wait to see those guys out there, see what they do this time. And it's fun to when you're excited to see your defense go out there and you're excited to see and your offense goes out, you're just as excited because they're capable of anything. And I feel that 2014 vibe catching on at just the right time. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I am totally excited. Before we sign off, I wanted to do one thing because I don't normally toot my own horn, right? But I did. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did my prediction music video as I have done every week, almost every week. I didn't do the Bills game, but I did my prediction video for the Arizona game, and I have to say that minus the score, it might have been the most accurate breakdown of what I thought needed to happen to get the win happened. So in case you guys didn't see it, this is my prediction video in review of what I predicted would happen at that Cardinals game that we just had on Sunday. Check it out.
I hate this field in AZ. Man, why being at 12 never easy? A sweep of the cards would really please me. Haters in the chat say I'm so cheesy. Can we contain little Kyler Murray? No more switch back defense, let's get crazy. O-line, no K9, so you got a Rocky. No INTs, just TDs, lose victory. No one thought we'd be on top. But who'd ever thought we'd have to get through the
Dang.
You know, that
There you
song
go.
perfectly encapsulates like your style of music that you love.
Literally.
And that your voice. It's like perfect. Like
That was
your voice could actually be the like that song. It actually make a song from that actual beat. Like you.
You know that you know what's funny about that is that song. I didn't actually choose that song, right? I lean on my girls, Sophie and Vanessa, to help me pick out songs. I was like, I need your help in kind of what's good for this year, and so they put me onto that Kanye song, and because it wouldn't have been my pick, they kind of turned me on to it. I was like, okay, I can work with this, and then Vanessa came in with the vocals at the end, and she killed it. So, but yeah, it was fun.
Do you have
Fun
a
put that
song
together.
for this week?
Yes, it's not done yet, but I'm working on it. It'll be out. Actually, my plan is to do, because I'm gonna be taking off for a big trip for the Christmas season, and I'm gonna miss the remaining part of the year after this Green Bay game. After the Green Bay game, that's probably the last Seahawks game I'm actually gonna be able to watch. To be honest with you,
I thought.
so.
Yeah, I thought you.
I have to get all my videos out before then. So my plan is to get everything put together so I can put everything out and have it ready to go, because I probably won't be able to stream or do that from where I'm going. So
You give me your YouTube password, I got you. Don't actually do that. Don't do that.
anyway, so there we go. So
I'll turn
yeah,
it
that's
into
why
an
this
Elon
game
Musk.
is that especially important. And I got to put this on a personal note. One last thing, as this show is going way longer than I expected. But you guys know my buddy Pat, right? He goes to all the games with me, and had been going to all the games. He hasn't gone in a while because he's been taking care of his ailing mom. Well, his mom passed away on Saturday this past week.
Oh.
And so it's been a tough emotional week for him. And plan to go see him tomorrow at a memorial dinner that they're having. But I've been encouraging Pat, because he hasn't been to a game really in all year, and he missed most of the games last year as well. And a lot of it's because of what he's had to do to take care of his mom. And I told him, and I've been trying to convince him, I said, Pat, we have one chance to go to a game this year. Actually, more than one if we go to the playoffs. But for the 2024 regular season, I said, this would be our last game to go together. So you got to go, man. I know that this is a tough week, but I said, this could be the best thing for you. Do something for yourself, get your mind off things. And, I think your mom would approve of you going out and just having a little fun and root for your team, because it's been such a long time. So anyway, so for my buddy Pat, it's been a tough one. We talk every day, just helping him through it. I knew it'd be rough for him, but yeah, I'm hoping he'll be joining me on Sunday, because that'll make that night just that much more epic of what's at stake, and to have him like old times, because he's the one I got started with going to the Seahawks games back in '96 as season ticket holders. He got it rolling for us back, we're talking almost 30 years ago. So anyway, getting a bit emotional here. Anyway, we'll see. I'm hoping he'll go, but he's got a lot of funeral stuff to take care of, but hopefully I can drag him off Sunday and take him to the stadium. That would just make that game, man, we might all be in tears when that thing's over. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. We actually had the viewership actually went higher the longer we went.
Hey, come on, Cameron.
It was like a crypto. I'm looking at the like viewership graph, and it's like a crypto. It's like going up. It's just good. This is going longer. Anyway, but thank you guys, Abel, Sky-High, Cam. Thank you for taking out your busy schedule. I know your football season's not over yet, so you're not even out of school yet. Taking time to jump on here for what was supposed to be 1 hour turned into 2. But I loved your insight, man. All of you guys. And Abel, whatever you did, you fixed your mic. I don't know if your dad helped you, but it sounds awesome now. So just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, bro. You got that going on now perfectly. So that's it. Guys, you want to say anything else? Just one last word before we sign off. Cam, anything you want to say, promote?
Go Hawks.
Shout out. Go Hawks. Abel?
Yeah.
Eat cheese, Grossi.
All right. Let's kick that intro one last time. Here we go. Hawks Real Talk. Oh, of course. I got to, of course, do, shout out to the sponsor one last time, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Thank you for sponsoring this video. And don't forget to check out that YouTube 150 code. Remember, in Washington, though, gambling is only allowed on tribal lands. I learned that as I was looking into BetUS. So check it out wherever you're from. Again, let's check the intro out one last time. Here we go, baby. Woo!
Let's go.
All right, go Hogs, baby.
Nice outro.